If your life looks good on paper, but feels off inside, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast, a podcast helping women in career and life transitions achieve clarity on their next steps so they can transform uncertainty into an energizing next chapter. I'm your host, Kavita Ahuja, and the founder of It's My Time Now Coaching. If you're wondering what's next in your career or life, you are in the right place. Through solo and guest episodes, you'll gain practical tips, tools, and inspiration to help you uncover blocks, gain confidence, and be, do, and have what you want. I rediscovered myself after the age of 50, and I know you can too. It's my time now to help you do just that. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, I've been successful for so long. Why am I questioning this now? And then immediately judging yourself for even asking the question. If so, you are not alone. Because from the outside, everything looks fine. Your career worked. You did what you were supposed to do. So why does this quiet discomfort keep showing up? In this episode, you'll discover why questioning your life and career after years of success is not a problem, but a meaningful signal. The hidden cost of ignoring that quiet discomfort, even when everything looks fine on the outside, and what it actually takes to move forward without burning everything down. So if you've been wondering whether something is wrong with you for wanting more, stay with me, because by the end of this episode, I want you to see that this question isn't a failure, it's an invitation. Like you may be right now, I had a very long-term and very successful career, which I poured a lot of energy into in order to climb up the ladder. And it paid off in terms of a good salary, promotions, and accolades. And there was absolutely nothing wrong with that, because at that time, that was the stage of life I was in. I was managing a busy career, kids, and everything else. But there came a point in my early 50s when I began to ask myself, I'm standing at the top of this ladder I've worked years to climb, and now I realize I'm not sure I even want to climb it or even want to keep climbing it. It really was a slow nudge at first, but then the voice inside of me grew louder and louder, so much so that I couldn't ignore it anymore. You see, from the outside, everything seemed perfect. But from the inside, I realized that the career high I had been in, while successful and a great one earlier in my life, no longer aligned with who I had become. I wanted to explore more of myself. I wanted to tap into my buried skills more. I wanted to leave a greater and different impact on the world. At that time, I had no idea what that would look like, but I knew it had to happen. And does it sound like you? If so, I'm sure all kinds of other emotions are also brimming within you, as they did with me. In fact, one of my clients said to me recently, I've done everything I was supposed to do, and I should be grateful. I'm not unhappy, but I'm not fulfilled. I don't know what I want. I just know it's not this. And that really hit home for me because it was exactly how I felt about 7 years ago. And here's what I see over and over again. You didn't plan this career, it unfolded. You were good at what you did, so you stayed. Opportunities came, promotions followed, and momentum carried you forward. And at that time, it made sense. But now something feels different. Not wrong, just disconnected. And you might hear yourself saying things like, on paper, this should be enough. Or I don't hate it, it just doesn't feel lit up anymore. Or I never actually chose this, it just happened. In fact, I have several clients right now who are experiencing the exact same things. They are all accomplished, brilliant women who have had amazingly successful careers, yet they are either completely burnt out from climbing up that ladder, or they're so used to doing the same thing that the thought of doing anything different terrifies them. Worse, they feel guilty for even questioning why they should feel this way because, as one of my clients phrased it, nothing is technically wrong, but I just can't keep doing this. So here's the thing, my friend, and this is the tricky part. You're not burnt out, you're not lost, but you're also not fully here anymore. You do show up, you perform, and you get results. Yet internally, there's a low grade tension you just can't explain. It's kind of like wearing a suit that fit you perfectly for years, and then one day realizing that's tight, not because it shrank, but because you grew. But what happens if you keep going without listening to this internal voice? There could be the signs that this has already started to affect you, and often women start feeling like this and never quite connect the dots as to why they're starting to feel like this or getting these symptoms. For example, after a day's work, even if things weren't really busy, you may stumble home and pass out in bed from exhaustion. Or worse, in the morning, you're so not excited to go to work the next day that you slam the snooze button 5 times before even getting up. And that is exactly what happened to me. And that was a trigger when I realized I couldn't do this anymore. Or perhaps you're so tired from the work that you are doing that you become irritable, and as a result, your relationships at work and at home begin to crack. Maybe you're feeling so unmotivated that it takes great effort to get yourself up and go to the gym or call up a friend or plan a date with your partner because your motivation and excitement for life has just diminished. When we begin to experience these outward physical symptoms, like I've just described, we must investigate what is the root cause of them. That is the internal dialogue that appears and keeps us staying exactly where we are. You may begin second guessing yourself, and your inner critic tells you that you are not good enough to try anything new or to follow your passions. So you stay where you are. And then slowly your confidence doesn't disappear, but it gets quieter, and decisions take longer. You start wondering, what's wrong with me? And the most confusing part, you've been confident your whole life. When your outer success no longer matches your inner truth, self doubt fills the gap. And this isn't loss of confidence, it's loss of alignment. And other things may begin to show up in your life. From the outside, nothing dramatic changes, but you're still competent and still respected and still capable. But the erosion may show up in small ways. You contribute less in meetings, you stop volunteering for what once excited you, and you default to what's expected instead of what feels really true. And this isn't burnout. Burnout explodes. This is quiet disengagement, and it erodes. If you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me talk time and time again about anabolic energy versus catabolic energy. Catabolic energy is a draining type, the type that literally sucks the life force out of you. And why does this catabolic energy increase in your life? Because you are not living in alignment with your true self, your true reason for being, or your true ikigai. These outward manifestations are a direct result of greater catabolic energy in your life, which drags everything down and leads to hopelessness, fear, even anger or resentment. And this negative spiral can continue unless we do something about it. We don't want this to happen. Yet underneath all of this, a belief most women live with, which keeps them exactly where they are, is this: if I've been this successful for this long, I shouldn't be questioning it now. But let's be honest, your life has changed. Your responsibilities have changed. Your values have evolved. So why wouldn't your definition of success evolve too? Why are we so stuck to the old beliefs that kept us going in our 20s, 30s, and even 40s? The truth is, you have changed. Your passions have changed. Your values have changed, and you've changed. So why shouldn't your definition of success also change? And here's the deeper truth, my friend. Questioning doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean you failed. And it certainly doesn't mean you should blow your life up. It means you've outgrown the version of success that once fit. Questioning isn't the problem. Ignoring the question is. And I want you to hear this very clearly, my friend. And this isn't just me making this up. This is from my own experience and years of coaching women in the same predicament. This phase isn't about starting over, it's about updating your identity, taking what you've already built, your experience, your wisdom, your credibility, and asking how it wants to express itself now. You're not dismantling your life, you're editing it. It's the same foundation, but with just a new blueprint. Because transitions aren't leaps, they're recalibrations. It's about really discovering who you have become and your reason for being, or ikigai. I want to share a very specific example of a client who I just had my last session with. We have been working together over the last year, and last session was really particularly poignant as she delivered her resignation letter on the same day from a job she's been in for the last 20 years. This is a woman with a PhD, several years of consistent promotions and achievements. Yet, through our work together, she realized that her work was not aligned with her real strengths, passions, and values, and with the brilliant woman she is and she is becoming. And she came to me initially with those symptoms that I had just described previously: exhaustion, irritability, relationship suffering. She has now decided, as a result of our work and discovering her ikigai, she's decided to pursue her passion in art and music and teaching. But she's also weaving into this her love and expertise in science in a way that celebrates and respects both. When we came to the realization together that she didn't have to blow up her life, but this is a natural extension of who she has become and her ikigai, she said to me with literal tears in her eyes, "Evita, it feels like I'm finally waking up to myself, and I'm so excited to see what this new chapter holds for me." I want this for you too. I truly do. Because if you are feeling misaligned or misunderstood or exhausted or burnt out or unhappy or unfulfilled, you need to ask yourself, why? One of the things I truly love about the work I do is seeing and actually feeling the transformation in the lives of the women I work with, as I just described. It is truly remarkable, humbling, and fulfilling. I just had a client tell me, "I could never come this far without you, Kavita. This has been life changing." For me, this is why I do this work. But before they decided to seek guidance, there was a lot of doubts and hesitations, which are understandable because of that inner critic I talked about. You may be thinking, "I've done so many things and none of them worked the way I hoped." Or, "At this stage or age, shouldn't I have figured it out already myself?" I'm here to tell you that it's not weakness to seek guidance, but complete strength. Sometimes it's not about needing all the answers but being given the space to ask the right questions. And that's exactly why this phase needs support and not rushing. And I know it's hard because you're so used to doing things on your own or getting others' opinions. Often, though, when we are in this phase of transition, those close to us may not even understand what we are going through. I've also heard this time and time again where women tell me, "When I talk to my family or friends, they project their fears onto me." And you don't need that. You have enough fears of your own. Oftentimes, we need someone neutral, someone who can help us think clearly and provide a roadmap and help us make those decisions not from fear or pressure, but from true alignment. And that is why I do what I do. Because I see so many women coming to me with a desire and potential and willingness to make a difference in their lives, but are being held back by unnecessary fears. If anything that I've said today has resonated, it's likely because you're not confused. You're in an identity update phase. And this is exactly where many of my clients come from. Not because they want to quit everything, but because they don't want to make their next move from an outdated version of themselves. And that's what we do in my coaching. We slow this moment down. We separate who you've been from who you're becoming. And we look at your energy, your values, and direction, and map out your ikigai. So your next step is intentional and not reactive. You don't need answers today, but you do deserve a space to explore the questions. And the questions and process I take you through are very specific and intentional. It is designed to take you from a state of doubt, confusion, overwhelm, or burnout to a state of knowing and understanding and believing in yourself with a plan to implement that understanding into the world with confidence. I'd really love to hear your story and how are you feeling at this moment of transition in your life? And if you want this clarity for yourself, I'm here to listen with no judgment or preconceived notions. I invite you to book a complimentary session with me, 45 minutes of you sharing exactly what's on your mind with someone invested in your future, because I know deep in my heart that your future is so very bright. If you're ready, book the call now and let's get started on your new becoming. I'm here for you. And until next time, remember, it truly is your time now. With great love, I'll see you next time. If this episode resonated, and if you felt yourself thinking, she's describing exactly where I am right now, I offer clarity and next chapter calls for listeners of this podcast. In it, we'll talk through where you are right now, what may be stopping you from moving forward, and what your next chapter could look like. I'll also share how I support people through career and life transitions. You can book this call directly using the first link in the show notes under Clarity and Next Chapter Call.